We are all making a special effort to check in on friends right now with the pandemic. But whenever someone asks me, "How are you?" all I can really say is, "I am." That's all I've got right now. Early on in the pandemic, I heard about a boy who committed suicide. He was the same age as my daughter. She was going to turn 13 in a few months. And he killed himself right before his 13th birthday. That was a really hard thing to hear. His dad felt like the isolation of quarantine had a lot to do with it. I think it was a tipping point. As someone who's been in close proximity with suicide, I know it's a million little things that lead someone to that choice. That led me to remember the book The Bell Jar, about a woman who tries to kill herself. She's unsuccessful, and there's this line where she's swimming out as far as she can into the ocean where she says she's listening to that old brag of my heart, I am, I am, I am. My own words, I am, called to mind that suicide attempt and connected it to this successful suicide, and I needed to make a book about that. I mocked up the book before I printed it, and then I had to cut the pages with extreme precision. It took me a very long time to make, 60 or 70 hours, and while I was working on it, George Floyd was murdered. So I'm listening to news podcasts, and suddenly I have this string of names in my head. Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, Elijah McClain, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Charlena Lyles, and I hate saying et al. Because each one of them deserves to be spoken, but I can't name them all. It felt like every strip of paper, all 5,256 of them, was a person whose life mattered. Instagram was blowing up with posts about racial justice and defunding the police, how to be anti-racist. There is a famous letterpress poster from the civil rights movement that says, I am a man. Images of crowds of black men holding this poster, asserting their worth as humans, were popping up in my feed. At the same time, I found this poem by William Stafford, a ritual to read to each other. It reads, if you don't know the kind of person I am, and I don't know the kind of person you are, a pattern that others made may prevail in the world, and following the wrong God home, we may miss our star. For there is many a small betrayal in the mind, a shrug that lets the fragile sequence break, sending with shouts the horrible errors of childhood, storming out to play through the broken dike. And as elephants parade holding each elephant's tail, but if one wanders, the circus won't find the park. I call it cruel, and maybe the root of all cruelty, to know what occurs but not recognize the fact. And so I appeal to a voice, to something shadowy, a remote important region in all who talk. Though we could fool each other, we should consider, lest the parade of our mutual life get lost in the dark. For it is important that awake people be awake, or a breaking line may discourage them back to sleep. The signals we give, yes or no or maybe, should be clear. The darkness around us is deep. Nothing, I say, will bring peace to the world, end poverty, clean the environment, supply potable water, or cure disease. But I do have stories I'm compelled to tell, and those stories are about you. If you have ever been made to feel that your life doesn't matter, this book is for you. As the Ubuntu philosophy says, we are because you are. And since you are, I am.